Well, bruh. We're 8 months into the school year, y'all. Get your stuff out. Hey, you're in a math class now. What else should we have with us? No. Okay, have your packet out. Both packets, because after today's quiz, you get to turn in that 4-4 or that 4A packet. You got a little bit of that stuff on today's quiz. You also have a little bit of 4B and a little bit of review from the ancient times. Because that final ain't too far off. Okay. So, you got your stuff out. Before I get you on your daily check, okay? I don't feel a need to go through the 4-4 or the 4-5B handout that's in your packet because we all did those. Remember, we were up on the boards, okay? Almost every one of those problems was done on the boards, and then you had time to continue practicing with them. So we should have it done. We should have them checked. Remember, I can check every one of them by just multiplying my answers together, and I should get the same thing I started with. Okay? What I will hopefully call some attention to is back here. There it is, the last 5 weeks of the school year. We now have enough, or our days of the school year remaining is now small enough that we can fit it into one board. Okay, so there's your visual representation. You are blue. Today you are doing review quiz number 10, so that would be Friday the 21st, which is not up there, and then starting with next week. I know it looks like I put them out of order and it was an accident. No, it is not. It's because of how I had to alter the materials a little bit. I'm not going to do AC method factoring in this class. Instead, we're going to do 4-7, then what I call 4-6 are two special methods of factoring dealing with perfect squares. They're both very easy, if you know your perfect squares. Does anyone still have all their perfect squares written down? Does anyone know where they are right in front of you? Who's got that multiplication chart in front of them? Perfect square, like 36, is 6 times 6. 6 squared. Notice that they are all highlighted yellow on those multiplication charts. So if you know your perfect squares, you'll be good to go for 4-7 and 4-6 next week. After that, 2 days on 4-8, I'm going to give you the nuclear launch codes to all quadratics. We're going to do the quadratic formula. It is a formula where you plug numbers in, do the order of operations, because if you don't do it in the right order, it's going to mess up. And then that's your answer for every single quadratic you can think of. Okay? And then we got one wiggle day. Well, 2 in here because we're 1 day ahead of the other class. I want to do a day of probability and statistics. Basic probability and statistics before we hit final. Because that's just some stuff we should know. Okay? Basic stuff. And then we'll do review quiz 11. Look at the blue stuff. May 11th. 15th, 17th, review. We're going to review everything that we did this semester. And then, because we are a day ahead, maybe take our final on the 19th instead. Special class, special situation. Because the majority of the kids in this room are here because we struggle with math, we probably struggle in other academic areas. And that's just something that we like to do with this class so that you can focus on your other finals. I know that during finals week, there's a bunch of you that are going to be scrambling to turn in stuff from 3 months ago, that are going to be scrambling to finish that project you never made up, that are going to be scrambling to maybe at the mercy of your teacher retake a test or two. I want you to be able to focus on that for your other classes because this one should be done. Okay? Additionally, okay, right behind Jasper's head there in green, there's your final schedule. Maroon 1, 2, lunch 3, go away. Open block 1 on the 25th. White 1, lunch, white 2, go away. And then on the 26th, white 3, white 4, and then everyone is allowed to leave at that point. During all of those stars, those open blocks, those are for you. You can decide if you want to come in and work on stuff, if you're at the mercy of your teacher and need to make up some things, study for some finals, whatever it is, those are great times to do it. If anyone knows that they're going to be gone, we don't have any seniors in here. I think I got one in my other class. Seniors would have to do a special arrangement with me for finals because they're out a week early. But if we play our cards right and if we don't have any other weather interruptions, remember that in the last, it's 3 of the last 4 years or 4 of the last 5 years, we have had a snow day within 10 days of the finals. Like, oh well, I guess that just happens here. If we don't have any interruptions, theoretically we can get our final done on the 19th so that you have that last week of school in my class anyway to just work on other stuff. We would say the 23rd is a FUBAR day. Go ahead and chill. I know some of you will be scrambling to do some stuff at the last minute because, oh crap, I'm going to fail this class. Additionally, on the 24th, that Maroon 2 block is when you're scheduled to be in here for your final. But if you already took it, and you are satisfied with your grade, I ain't looking for you. You can just not show up for all I care. Okay? So, the calendar is up there. That's how it's laid out for the last 5 weeks. Cool? All right. You should all have in the back of your 4B packet an area to do a little bit of work. Y'all still owe me a daily check for 4-5. Section 4-5 was factoring a quadratic of the form x squared plus bx plus c. Notably, there isn't an a value in front. All of ours were nice. They all had a 1 in front of them. I would like you to factor 2 things. Thing number 1, oh wait, no, you're making the binomials. Thing number 1, I would like you to factor x squared, that, and I would also like you to do that. Go! Okay, calculator, multiplication chart, whatever you need. Turn those into their binomials. There is no reason for you to leave an incorrect answer and just quit, because if you got time, you should be able to multiply together your answer and get right back where we started. Dude. I've been looking for calculators.
Oh, no. I just got the one over there.
Oh. I thought you just pulled that out of your backpack. The day that I was gone, I had like 5 calculators disappear. I hope they all find their way back. They're expensive. Okay. Probably. All right. You quiet now. You work.
So I remember when both of them used to be
Dude,
But yes, you are on the right.
how do I get out of this?
quit, second quit, second quit, second quit.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I got it.
Come on, I've seen you play games. You're good at this. Just quit.
That's
All right. While y'all are doing that, pre-calc. still see some pencils going. Is this, are we working or are we doodling? Can't tell. Anyone? Still going? Okay, give you about another minute. Okay, looks like we're about there. Here we go. If I list out all the ways that I can make a negative 51, we've got 1 by negative 51, negative 1 by positive 51, negative 3 by 17, 3 with negative 17. Their sums are negative 50, positive 50, positive 14, negative 14. Once I find the magic combination, where I have factors of C that add up to B, I simply write my binomial. X is out front because I started with X's. A positive 13, or positive 3 and a negative 17. Easy peasy. Contestant 2, same thing. I list out all the ways I can make 24. We got 1 and 24, negative 1 and negative 24, 2 and 12, negative 2, negative 12, 3 and 8, negative 3 and 8, 4 and 6, negative 4 and negative 6. What? Good thing I said it. I'm a dad. I can get away with do as I say, not as I do. No, I can't. Your parents ever try to pull that crap on you, you call them on their hypocrisy. Okay? I was wondering if someone would actually catch it. I just said you call someone on their hypocrisy if they try to do the do as I say, not as I do. Normally everyone's silent. Someone actually called me on it. Okay, good. Got him. 25, negative 25. 14, yes, I know that's the answer. I'm still going to write them all out. Negative 14, 11, negative 11, 10, and negative 10. Okay? If you found the magic combination early on, there's no need in writing the rest of it. you can just write x minus 1, x minus 24, and you're golden. So, what I'm looking for is two things. A, you got the numbers. B, you got the signs. You got the numbers, you got the signs. And then you got some sort of work to back it up for both of them. Said, I know that some of us are going to get to the point where we can probably do some of this in our head. I know some of you, mental math is your jam. Writing it out isn't. But I need to see something to know that you did it, not, and Slater did it. Not, is Slater even used anymore? Is it all just photo math now? It was the precursor to photo math. Okay, now that work could have been something as simple as maybe you had written off to the side, what times what makes negative 51 adds up to negative 14, and then you filled it in. At least shows me that you know what you're looking for instead of just I copied something down. Okay? So numbers and signs, some sort of work. Cool? All right. Then, review. Remember, please, please, please turn your reviews in with your quiz. Said I changed that up this semester where I'm giving you credit for these in your quiz grade because some of us just weren't doing diddly. Okay, it's free points just for following along, writing some notes, and telling yourself how to do the quiz. So please turn it in with your quiz. Those of you that have been lagging on the quizzes, maybe you didn't take one, you got your midterm grade and freaked out like, oh wait, that's right, I have to do that. Okay. Make sure that you don't just come in and go commando on a quiz. Have your review. If you don't have the review, ask for one. I probably got them in the back bin there. If not, then I can get you a new one. I'll just print it off. Okay? But have your review with your quiz. All right. So, the things we have done in the last few weeks are GCF factoring. What is a GCF? What does that stand for? Greatest common factor. Not only do they have to have the thing in common, but it's got to be the biggest thing they've got in common. And I find that by break them up. What times what makes 16? And each of those 4s can break into. And 2s can break into. Those are primes. The only way to make 2 is with 1 times 2. Because I would just get another 2 again, that's the end of my branches. How about 4? Well, we already said that one, right? So I would list them out. I'd say that 16p to the 4th. Ooh, I would also, every time I see these, remember, every time you run to a plus or minus, it's a brand new term. Chop them up. That way you know that you've got all your signs right. So the first guy's written out as 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and then p to the 4th. And you p, and you p, and you p, and you p. 4p cubed is 2 by 2 by, and you p, and you p, and you p. We'll see which of you we get. Now what? I broke them all up. I wrote them out as prime factors. What they have in common. They've got a pair of 2s in common. So 2 by 2. They got triple P. in common. A p by p by p. So if that's all the stuff they have in common, then I can write out 2 by 2 is 4. P by p by p is p cubed. And then, if I cross out what I just said they have in common, because I'm effectively dividing by these. Well, if I divide 16p to the fourth by 4p to the third, what I have left is a 4p. So I got 4p on the inside. What's left with the second guy?
0.
I intentionally have this on the review so that you put a note to yourself. If everything cancels out, you got to put a 1 as a placeholder. Because remember, you are dividing. Another way I could write this out is I'm turning this into 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2 by 2 by 1, 2, 3. When I go and divide by 4p cubed, there's a 2, a 2, a p, a p, a p, a 2, a 2, a p, a p, a p. I'm dividing by those when I bring it outside the parentheses. And we know this is 1, 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 1. That last one doesn't just poof into the ether. It's 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. That's why I need that 1 as a placeholder. Okay? I'm dividing. I can't divide and get a 0 unless I started with 0 to begin with. So, can we write some steps next to this? Like, how do you approach this? Can you just write detailed steps? Step 1, what should I always do? Tell yourself how to do it. What's the first thing we always do with these problems? Okay, break it up. Uh-oh, this is already looking like a plot for a horrible teen romance movie. Number 2. After you break everything up, what do you look for? Okay, the common stuff. What do they have in common? And step 3, once I take that out, whatever they have in common, I multiply together, and inside I say what's left. My GCF will come out, multiply all the stuff that they have in common together, and I say what's left on the inside. Okay? And maybe a big note next to this that if everything cancels, if everything is gone, put a 1 as a placeholder. Just in case. Because I made your guys' quiz when I thought we were going to be doing it sooner. So I did it when, what was that, 4 days ago or something, right when we were getting 3 hours of sleep a night. So I have no idea what's on your test. You might want to put a note next to it just in case. I know it looks like this, it's just I don't know what the specific problems are. Okay. Oof, that is some pixelated business right there. Do you remember what we did for negatives? We just break it apart with a negative 1. So even though 3 itself is prime, I'd say negative 1 by 3. So I'd write that as negative 1 by 3 by poorly chosen example, but fits right in South Dakota. 15. Just 3 by 5. Nothing fancy with that. So a 3 times a 5 by a 1 times 1. Okay, a k and a k makes a k squared. What about the negative 6? Chip the negative 1 off there first. Then break up your 6. Okay? Write a note next to this. If it's got a negative, say negative 1 times number, then go. So that's a negative 1 by 2 by 3 by k. So, what do they all have in common? 1k and a 3. So, a 3 and a k, a 3 and a k, a 3, whoop, and a k. If I take that out, a 3 and a k, then everything that's left over will tell me what is left over inside the parentheses. If I take that GCF out, I am left with a inside negative k times k is yes sir. If I have a 5 times a k, it's just a 5 and a k. Is it plus or minus? Because there wasn't a negative 1 in front of it. This is why we have that negative 1 split off. There wasn't a negative in front of it, so I'm not going to say a negative. I'm going to say plus 5k. And then negative 1 by 2, this time it does have a negative 1. So I know it's minus 2. That's why we chip that negative 1 off whenever we see a negative term. If that caught you by surprise, I would recommend every time you run into a plus or a minus, chop it up. Those are your 3 terms, so those are the 3 things that you'll list out. All right? So we did a few days of the GCF stuff. We got good at it. Like when we were doing this at the board, y'all were crushing it. It's been a while since we did it. That's why we always review right before our quiz. Then we've spent the last couple of days doing factor business. This is exactly what we just did for our daily check. I'm looking for if I have x squared plus bx plus c. I'm looking for factors of c that add up to b. Okay, or that's the general form of it. All done with alphabet soup. That way it works for all of them. So I need to start by listing out all of my factors of negative 45. So a negative 45 is, I'll just say, I don't know, n times m. What times what makes a negative 45? Yes, sir? If you have this with the numbers written on it, I'm cool. I'm writing the whole thing out because not everyone can do that. Okay? That's directly to answer. Have the blue-green stuff off to the side. So I know that you know what you're doing. Okay? I know that some of you got the mental mojo for this. All right? I get it. Especially if we've gotten good with finger tracking on the multiplication chart. Okay? But not everyone can, so I'm still going to write it out. You've got a 1 times a negative 45. What you don't want to do is now say negative 45 and 1. Because you said the same thing, you just said it in a different order. Okay? It's like Yoda speak, right? He said the same thing, he just said it in a goofy order. Shut up, you must. I love those memes too, where it's like Yoda just trash talking someone. Okay. He said the same thing as a normal person would, he just said it in a different order. Well, if I say 1 and negative 45 and then negative 45 and 1, I didn't say anything different. But if I go negative 1 with positive 45, now I've said something different. Now you can just run down the list with your multiplication chart or your calculator and start guessing. 2 doesn't go in there, 3 does. Put its evil twin, negative 3 with positive 15. 4 doesn't go in there, 5 does. 5 by negative 9 or negative 5 by positive 9. And I try 6, and it doesn't work. 7 doesn't work. 8 doesn't work. And then I hit 9. And when I get to 9, I would say negative 5, but I just said that already. So that tells me I'm done. If I go from 1 down as far as I can until I repeat myself, I know I've found them all. How many times when we were doing these did you write out just kind of scattershot? Different ones, you'd say like 1 times a number, and then you'd say, I'll say it was 48. Then you'd say 8 times 6, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and you'd completely forget that 24 went in there, right? If you go in order, hopefully you'll get them all. Write their sums. Their sums. If I add them together, we get a negative 44, a positive 44. A negative 12, a positive 12. A negative 4, a positive 4. So they're all going to multiply to negative 45, but I'm looking for the ones that add up to positive 4. And if you got the mental mojo, you don't have to write that entire chart. The thing that I need to see from you is right over here. I want you to tell me that, where'd it go? Negative 5 times 9 makes negative 45, but negative 5 plus 9 makes positive 4. That's what I want to see. Okay? So you can either have this, or you can have this with your magic pair circled as your work. I ain't done. I've seen a lot of you find the magic pair and then just move on. Write your answer. Your answer will always be of the form, in this case, t, because I started with t squared, plus a thing, and t plus a thing. I just said squared, so I wrote squared. I hate when that happens. The magic pair that I found that works is minus 5 plus 9. Now, what if you said it the other way? What if you said t plus 9, then t minus 5? Same thing. Okay, multiplication and addition are commutative. The order will not matter. Now, let's say you do that and you're not sure if you're right. Remember that you can prove you're right. It's not necessary. I'm not going to force you to do it. But t times t is t squared. T times 9 is plus 9t. Negative 5 by t is negative 5t. And negative 5 by 9 is negative 45. When I go to add all of that stuff up, I get the exact same thing I started with. This is how you know you did it right. Okay, that's just your check. Just like plugging in x and making sure it balances the equation. Okay? Every year I have someone ask me, dude, t freaks me out. S freaks me out. Can I just change these to x's? I'm cool with it. I get it. All right, if you need to change them to x's because whatever letter it is bothers you, That's okay, because right now that doesn't stand for anything in a formula. When it gets defined in a formula, then you have to. So, do that a little bit faster, a little bit less work. I would list out all the factors of 30, 1 and 30, -1, -30, 2 and 15, -2 and -15, 3 and 10, -3 and -10. And I've seen some of you do this. You'll write a couple of them out, and then just say, z minus 2, z minus 15, and you'll just move on to the next problem. That isn't right, because its sum off to the side is -17. We didn't get the right sum. Just because you got something here doesn't mean you're right. And if I go to check it, z squared minus 15z, -2z plus 30, when I go to check in the middle, I'm not going to get a -11. That's how I know I screwed up. Okay? But if I keep going down my list, 5 and 6, -5 and -6, now I'm in business. Because the magic pair that gets me to a -11, not +11, I found it. So I write z minus 5, z minus 6. Again, if you're going to switch to x's, I'm cool with it. I understand. Z's look like 2's, s's look like 5's, t's look like pluses. I get it. If you want to change them, that's okay. And then, I heard a, oh. What are you, in your 30s? So you know you're feeling your age when you don't just make noises getting up, you also make noises sitting down. I realized that I make too many noises getting up and down when my boy started, when he got off the couch. I was like, oh, buddy. We don't just do that. Sorry. If you remember, and and or inequalities I just solve separately. I'll do two different problems, and then I'll sketch them on the same number line to see where my answer is. Okay. Over here, if I have 3d plus 3 less than or equal to -1. I know a lot of us wanted our Paxton line on there, so we have everything nice and balanced. And all the way back to first semester, we say, who's lonely? Okay, -1 is lonely, so he's lonely because he's lazy. Bring the date to him. Don't bring a 3D over. He's lonely, not hungry. Bring a number over, because numbers go with numbers, not variables with numbers. Do you remember showing all this work? Saying 3 minus 3 is 0. So I have 3D less than or equal to, you owe me $1, I'm dumb enough to let you borrow 3 more. -4. D is still not by itself. What's happening to D? Okay, 3 times D, all hugged up on each other. You need to divide both sides by 3. Shoop. Getting D is less than, is it less than or equal to?
No.
Because I divided and there's a negative over here.
It's greater than.
It's a trap! Did I divide by a negative? No. There was a negative number there, but I didn't divide by a negative 3. It's only when you multiply or divide by a negative that you have to switch things. Good note to write. Now 4 and 3 don't have any common factors, so I'm just going to write negative 4/3 and leave my fraction. Then I'll go over to the other one. We've got 5d plus 2 is greater than or equal to 12. I'm putting my little Paxton line on there so that I keep everything nice and balanced. And say, who's lonely? Bring them a date. I've been looking for those. Okay, we drop 5d down. Greater than or equal to 12 minus 2 is? I got 5 all hugged up on d. So we divide. 5 divided by 5 is 1. I got d is, do I flip it or not? Greater than or equal to 2. Now when I go put these on a number line, I got to put them in the right spots. Small numbers left, big numbers right. Which one of these two numbers is bigger? Positive numbers are bigger than negative numbers. So, when I do my quick sketch, this isn't my final answer. I'm going to put a negative 4/3 here and a 2 here. Do you remember the open circle, closed circle, left, right business? The first one, open or closed circle? Okay, it's closed circle, and we'll go to the left because it points that way if I have my variable on the left side. Contestant number 2, d is greater than 2. Greater than or equal to, sorry. And to the right, more ink here, more ink there. Now the catch is whether it says and or. Remember, we had a whole chart for these. If it says and, they both got to be true. What if that said and? Where are they both true?
Nowhere.
So I would have no solution. But because it says or, where is one or the other true? No, there's no shading in between.
Both.
Both of them, because I said or. You have to have less than this much or more than that much to qualify for whatever bank account. Okay? There are 2 different places where we have an answer. Right here and right here. And the nice part about those is you get to literally just jam an or in between them, and that is your answer. Where you got to be careful is when, what happens if it did this? What if it did that and I said or? Where is one or the other true with that purple stuff to the left?
Negative.
From negative 4/3 onward, right? Because it overlaps at 2, that just means it's more powerful. So my answer, I wouldn't care about this at all. I would just say this. Because one or the other is true from here onward. If I said and, then it'd be the reverse. It'd have to be from 2 onward, because that's where these are both true. Okay, reviewing all the way back to the beginning of the semester. And then we started combining lines with inequalities. Do you remember how to graph line? Okay, the key to it was y equals mx plus b, where we said this was rise and run, x plus start. And next to those, we like to write stuff like rise and run were set like this. Neither of those looks that way. If you remember how to graph by intercepts, the whole cover the X or cover the Y trick, then you'd be golden. But I'm betting most of us remember mx plus b because that's been ground into our heads. So I need to change both of these. First one, 2x plus y is less than 4. How do I get that y by itself so it looks like this? I'll subtract 2x over, yep. Getting y is less than negative 2x plus 4. Contestant 2, I have negative 2x plus y is less than or equal to 4. What do? Get y by its lonesome. Which is it? Because it says minus 2x. I do the opposite. If they're subtracting 2x, I will add 2x to both sides. It'll zero out here, and I get y is less than or equal to 2x plus 4. But wait a minute, neither of those have fractions on them. Yeah, they do, because I put them over 1. Okay, this is over 1. This is over 1. So they both tell me where to start and what my slope is. They are both going to start at the point 0, 4, y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, if you needed to, remember that you can write negative 2 over 1. We always go left to right like a book. Negative means down. So my purple line will go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Solid or dotted line. Remember, this is dotted because there's less ink here. It's amazing to think about all the things that you have learned or relearned this semester, right? It's a lot of information. Which way do I shade? It says y is less than the line. The y's are less downward. So I'll shade downward. Okay, blue line. I have 2 over 1. Left to right like a book. Positive means up. From the dot, I will go up 2 and right 1, crud. I can't do up 2 and right 1. So I reverse the flow. I'll go left and down. From this point, left 1 down 2, left 1 down 2. Left 1 down 2, left 1 down 2, left 1 down 2, na 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 na. And because that one says less than or equal to, more ink here, more ink there. Which way do I shade for that guy? It says again, less than or equal to, so we shade down. And then I look at all those arrows and say, where are they all pointing? Into this big triangle here. Ta-da. Think you can handle 6 problems in a half hour? I think you can. It's 6 problems. Half hour. 30 minutes. Devices away. Remember, if I see a device, anytime that you're near a test, big ol' Zippola. Open note, open everything when you are done. Put your 4A packets up here next to the basket. Okay? May the Schwartz be with you.
Wait, do I?
All right.